here with Blushing Wand. Just wanted to tell you guys a little bit about this tutorial. So I basically created it on the go. I was in the mood for something with pinks and I'm really feeling springtime right now. Wanted to create something that's brighter and has a little bit more color that you can still just easily wear during the day. So I have shades of pink and gold and kind of a perfected glowy skin that's not too glowy, and I like it. So I hope you guys enjoy it, and please, 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 if you could, please give me a thumbs up, subscribe to my channel, and share it if you can, and I really, really appreciate it. Thank you so much and enjoy. Okay, so the first thing I'm gonna do is put my foundation on. I've already put primer on and some primer on my eyelids because I'm planning to do eyeshadow. And I'm using the Forever Undercover 24-Hour Full Coverage Foundation. I'll just put dots on my fingertip and I'll kind of spread some dots all over my face. I do want a little bit more coverage, so I'm definitely using enough of these dots. I'm just using a flat foundation brush for the application, and I'm just kind of using like small strokes. When I start out like this, I do not worry at all whether I have streaks or anything. I just kind of try to evenly get the product spread out along the face. Once I kind of have it everywhere, kind of evenly, I go in with a stippling foundation brush. And with this one, I am just kind of stippling along the face everywhere where I have foundation, and I'm kind of perfecting the application and not like rubbing it off. So once I have it everywhere and have it pretty blended, I'm done with that and I'm ready to move on with concealer. I will be using, of course, the Bye Bye Under Eye Concealer. I'm a dot on my fingertip and I'm kind of dividing that between these two fingers as evenly as I can. I'll start applying that. Also using part of what I have on my finger to highlight this area right here, coming down the side of the nose a little, down to here and right here. I'm going to blend my concealer with the Beauty Blender, and this is not sprayed with anything, it's just dry. So far this has worked a little bit better for me as far as avoiding creasing. Some people prefer to get it moist to avoid creasing. I don't know about that. Maybe I should give it another shot, but I'm using it dry today. I'm going to set that concealer in place with a fine translucent powder. I'm also setting the areas where I had applied that highlighter. I like to apply a thin layer of that powder wherever I have zits or marks and blemishes that I want to cover, and I have a couple right here. So I will use my small eyeliner brush to apply just a little concealer to those spots. And then my compact powder. Tapping it onto the skin. Again, I'm not going like this. Okay, so I am going to do my bronzer first this time. So I'm just contouring with the bronzer just along the forehead. And this is great, especially if you have a bigger, longer forehead. Make sure you get it really well close to your hairline. Actually coming down the temples here. And then cheekbone. Definitely make sure that whenever you do this, your bronzer is not shimmery. You don't want the shimmery stuff for this. Using the Laguna bronzer by NARS, I am going to use just a big fluffy brush to kind of soften all those lines from the bronzer. For a little bit of extra contouring, I'm using my Kevyn Aqua. I actually don't know if I'm pronouncing it properly. That's the bronzer I'm using, medium, and just going with an angled brush. And I'm actually going to go back with this brush that has a little bit of my bronzer. Kind of refining the tip of the nose a little with this brush, using the same contouring powder. So I'm just creating a little bit of a V on both sides. And making a little line above the tip of the nose. That's all I'm going to do. So I will just blend that a little. And I will actually use my highlighter right now. Why not? Do it the other way around this time. I usually do it after the blush and everything. Beneath that line that I created for the tip of my nose, above the tip of the nose, because you want it to be lifted, and I'm keeping it pretty centered in the middle. I'm not spreading that highlighter too much. I'm using my fingers to blend it a little bit. I don't want it to be too shiny. And I will also use this blending brush with some of that highlighter and just go right here, the bridge of the nose, and right here. And then with my bigger highlighter brush, we'll apply some to my cheekbones, just like that. I don't want too much above the eyebrow, right here. Sometimes I use my own fingers to just kind of blend things, and I'll keep it like that for now. No more highlighting. For the eyebrows, I am going to use my angled brush, Dip Brow Pomade from Anastasia, and this is in taupe. And then I'm going to double up on it with the Brow Wiz in medium brown. But I really want to have my eyebrows defined before I do my eyeshadow this time, so I can really see what I'm doing. I'm starting on the bottom. I have very, very little hair, so I don't even, you can take the time to do this before you outline the bottom of your brows, but I find that I don't really need it. Definitely make your eyebrows long enough on the sides, because that will also define and kind of thin out your face instead of having just a really short brow. Here I'm kind of turning my brush this way, and I'm going almost with it upside down strokes. You definitely want it to be soft in that middle part. I'm going to use my Brow Wiz to fill it all in, because I definitely need more color than that. And it's important for you to keep checking on the shape of your brow, so just every once in a while look at yourself in the mirror from far to see if things are looking normal. I'm blending this middle part with my brush again, just kind of going over it. So here I'm just kind of starting to create some definition and contouring my eyes. I'm starting on the outside corner and kind of moving my way into the inner corner of the crease, and then just kind of blending it all upwards and outwards. And I'm using the eyeshadow Pink Grapefruit from Makeup Designery to do that. I'm kind of using a back and forth motion to blend this, and at times also kind of going in circular motions. I'm just doing whatever is needed to kind of get those edges really well blended. So just keep on doing that while you feel like you still have some harsh lines to get it looking a little softer. Now that I'm feeling like I'm pretty happy with where I'm at, I'm using the same eyeshadow with a small brush and just kind of rubbing some of that same eyeshadow along my lower lash line. So now for a little bit more definition on the crease, I'm using the eyeshadow Beach from the Royal Peach palette from Kylie Cosmetics. And I'm just kind of focusing on the outer V of my eyelids and not going all the way up so I don't cover the other eyeshadow I already applied. So here I'm going to go over with Pink Grapefruit again, the same eyeshadow I already used, and I'm just kind of softening along the edges a little bit more. So now I'm using Beach from Kylie Cosmetics again, and I'm just kind of using an angled brush and rubbing, literally just rubbing a little bit of that eyeshadow along my lower lash line, just right at the roots for some color, but I don't want a lot of definition. Now here I'm just using a tiny bit of my highlighter, and it's from Becca in the color Champagne Pop, and I'm just kind of putting a tiny bit under my brow bone and tear duct area. I'm going to use my Studio Finish concealer from MAC, and I'm applying it to my lid, just to the area where I'm planning to apply a little bit of my gold pigment so that it sticks a little bit more and stands out. So I'm using my Golden Lemon pigment from MAC and just using a flat brush to apply that on the areas where I put the concealer, and I will just try to kind of blend that as well as I can, and I'm just kind of tapping it on and trying to keep it just on those areas where I apply the concealer. With the same brush that had the Beach eyeshadow, I'm just kind of going over the crease again to kind of blend all that together. And I'm applying a teeny bit of that concealer just right under my lash line, just because I decided I wanted to kind of mix that gold and the grapefruit eyeshadow together and have the color pop a little bit more under the eyes. So that's what I'm doing. I'm applying the grapefruit, and you can see that it just kind of pops in a different way and makes the color a little bit more vivid. So that's just what I wanted to do with that. I'm using my pen eyeliner from Dior. This is Dior Show Art Pen, and I'm just kind of lining the eyes and creating a very thin line, as thin as I can make it. When I want my liner to be pretty thin, I like to kind of get the shape going and then use a black eyeshadow with my liner brush and just kind of do it with the eyeshadow over the liner, because it's so much easier to get the shape I need, and it kind of smokes it out a little bit too, which I kind of like. So that's what I'm doing here, and you can use any black eyeshadow of your preference as long as it's pretty pigmented. Make sure if you're doing this that you're going to fill it all in so that everything's the same color and you don't have white spots or skin color coming through. I'm using my Clinique High Impact Mascara, and I'm just applying a little bit on my top lashes because I have lash extensions. I don't need a whole lot. And then I'm going from side to side using this motion and kind of applying a little bit along my lower lash line also. Okay, so now that I'm done with the eyes, I'm gonna do my blush, and I'm pretty on the fence on what to do, but I think I am actually gonna go with a coral pink from Bobbi Brown, and it's coral something. Oh, it's faded. A little bit of color to finish everything off. Because I did the highlighter before, you can see it kind of turns into more of a pink, a light pink highlighter without me having to use a pink highlighter, but it just makes it a little softer. You know, I always like to blend the edges of my blush. What I'm doing here, and I'm trying not to go over this area because that's where my highlighter is. It is like right here, I thought it was a little bit too dark, too heavy, so I'm also just softening that. I'm just going with my basic light lip liner in Subculture. I might just actually go with Pretty Please from MAC. It has a luster to it, but it's pretty light pink, pretty, very neutral.